Live from Thornbury Creek at Oneida, this is Locker Room with Local 5 Sports Director Bert Griffin. Now your host, Bert Griffin.
The showdown in Seattle wasn't much of one, with Green Bay starting fast and finishing strong. And now their fourth straight primetime game awaits as the Packers start to position for the postseason. Get ready for another edition of Locker Room. Good evening and happy holidays, and welcome to another edition of Locker Room right here at Thornbury Creek at Oneida. Well, the Packers are sitting pretty after beating Seattle on Sunday Night Football, and now there are just 3 games left in the regular season, 2 of those at Lambeau Field, starting with the Saints with another primetime game on Monday Night Football. We're going to talk about that more with Packers linebacker Isaiah McDuffie in a moment, but first, let's hear it for my co-host of the show tonight, 3-time Super Bowl champ and former running back and coach with the Pack, Harry Sidney.
Hello there, man. What's happening, man? Happy holidays and all that good stuff.
To everybody out there.
It's that season, man.
It's a festive time of the year.
Festive, good football.
And when the Packers win, things are much better in December.
Oh, much better. I mean, it's a lot of TV to watch, and it's not just them winning, but it's how they're winning.
Right.
There was a time when if your backup quarterback came in, it was still a contest.
Yeah.
They went in. You've seen the Green Bay Packers, especially defense. I know offense, we're going to get to Jacobs, but what the defense is doing?
Yes.
That's impressive.
Well, and we've got Isaiah McDuffie coming up in just a minute to talk about that defensive effort, not only this past week, but throughout the entire season. And look, they control their own destiny. You beat the Saints, you're in. Can you catch the Lions? Probably not. However, this is a good testing period where Seattle had everything to play for. Green Bay kind of knows they're kind of stuck in that 5th and 6th seed area, depending on what happens with that Vikings game. Not this week, but they don't want to look ahead, take care of business, beat New Orleans, and then worry about those last 2 games, and it'll all figure itself out.
It'll figure itself out. They have to right now, and they're doing a great job of peaking.
Yeah.
You know, they just have to control. You hear a lot of times control what you can control. And how they play defense and what they do offense, and we saw this early in the game when they went after when Jacobs just went smash mouth football. Yeah. Let's go.
I got to ask you this: have you seen 2 better quarters, or two better drives in the first quarter in a long time by Green Bay? Because as I watched that game, I'm like, oh my, this might be 49-7.
Well, because
they just at will 7, 8, 12, 15 yards.
I mean, the first 4 series you scored every time, but the fact that how they were doing it, Jacobs running down north and south, offensive line, wide receivers, tight ends, block and play action. Those the things that are going to make Green Bay that team they're starting to do, which is run the ball, play action. Stingy defense. You got guys on defense. You know, I know Isaiah McDuffie here. We got guys on defense, man, that are making plays that I haven't seen made. Impact guys making impact in games they haven't seen in a long time.
Well, and I would say this, the offensive line and Josh Jacobs came out with an attitude.
Yes.
The return of Romeo Doubs with his touchdown catch, not only then, we'll get to that second one in a moment, but you build that lead on the road, kind of takes the wind out of Seattle's sails.
Well, for many years in the Packers and 49ers, you love to go to away game and take the crowd out the game. Not only did they take the crowd out the game, but you had Packer fans.
Yes.
Loud on TV, and you're going, is this a home game or away game? Because that's the Packer fans and what the Packers do, man.
It was like Tampa Bay on the road years ago.
Yes, yes.
So, look, Edgerrin Cooper, he also returned in addition to Romeo. We'll get to that more in a moment, but he makes the big play at a critical time, getting the interception, and then Romeo comes back with one of the greatest catches of all time.
Well, you know, Romeo, great catch, but you talk about, you know, Cooper making plays. 7 tackles, 2 for loss, 2 interceptions, 2 quarterback hits. You haven't linebacker play, and they've been doing a great job, but now you're seeing a group of linebackers that are getting after it, causing problems.
Well, I'm just going to ask you this. You've been here before. Do you just want to read this right here, or do you want me to?
You can read
Okay, I'll do it. You know what time it is.
It's time.
Time now for our pivotal performance powered by local IBEW 158. Yeah, football can be a war of attrition. Injuries take place, but this past week you could see the immediate impact of Romeo Doubs and Edgerrin Cooper returning from injuries. Doubs, 3 catches, 40 yards, 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, how about Hedger and Cooper, you mentioned the stats, not bad for a rookie. And by the way, that pick was very opportune. I mean, not many guys are that athletic to drop all the way off and then cut underneath and pick that off in front of the receiver.
And it's not just athletic, but his impact plays. Every play he makes, he seems like it's some type of impact. And as I'm looking at him, I'm thinking back, like I said, as a player coach, he reminds me in a way of Wayne Simmons.
Ooh.
That's a heck of when I throw that out there. You remember how Wayne used to make impacts?
Yeah, I do.
This guy has that intangible, and I know that I shouldn't throw it out there, but when you see it, you go, man, you got to admire and respect what you see.
God bless his soul. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
He was like Wayne on the field.
Wayne on the field. That's what I'm talking about. Just how he played.
Yes.
Took tight ends out the game.
Yes.
When they blitz him in that sack where they calls the stunt, the way he hit off of it.
Yeah.
There you go, man. That guy's look like he's been playing for 8 years. He's only a year rookie.
I'll say this for all the old guys who are in the media. He's a lot nicer to go up to in the locker room.
I didn't say what he was. I'm talking on the football field, man.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
You were scared to go to Wayne's locker.
You didn't want to mess with me.
Hedgeron's a nice dude.
He's a nice dude, but on the football field, you love seeing that.
And speaking of great linebackers, we've got one tonight on the show.
We do.
Packers linebacker Isaiah McDuffie is in the house. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got more coming up on the Locker Room. Welcome back to Locker Room right here at Thornberry Creek at Oneida. Please welcome our very special guest tonight, Packers linebacker Isaiah McDuffie. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, man?
How fun was it getting some sleep on that plane ride home?
Oh man, I don't know what it is. I actually was able to get a couple hours, which honestly was, a good thing, but that flight was long.
Is there a worse road trip than Seattle if you live in Green Bay? I mean, at least Miami, it's warm, but Seattle, come on. I mean, you tell me. I know you've done it, but what about you?
It was raining when we got there and when we left, so I mean, it was cool though.
How hard is it when you're playing on a Monday, then a Friday, then a different day, and then the holidays? How hard has it been to keep focus on what you're trying to do?
It's just having a routine. At the end of the day, just keep the main thing, and let your routine take over. That's how I kind of look at it.
Well, obviously, you had a huge impact last year. This year, you've taken your game to another level. And I know I've talked to guys, and you guys both know how the game goes. If you're sitting there watching the draft back in April, and you're like, oh, man, they drafted a guy at my position. And if you're not an Aaron Rodgers or a Jordan Love, you kind of wonder, like, oh, they drafted a guy, and they might want to get rid of me. You have proven that you not only belong, that you can contribute. Did you do something different in this offseason, knowing that this is a contract year, and your play has really stepped up in a huge way?
I feel like every year, you kind of want to progress and get better. So I just kind of looked at the offseason a way to do that. If that's just one extra rep at the end of the day or extra hour doing something that could make me better, that's kind of the approach I took.
I know you and the D coordinator were together at Boston College. How much of the similar defense is he running compared to what he did then? And if he did it give you a little edge because you kind of know what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, so I was there his first year, so defense was kind of like bare bones, I would say. It's way more complex now. It's an NFL defense. But it has similar principles, I would say, like, just kind of like base defense, like what we did and stuff like that. But it's good. It's good. And I kind of remember some of the stuff. There was some carryover, which helped.
It's funny because when you got the little guys up till about 8th grade, they can only do this much.
Yeah.
And then high school, you can only do this much. And then college, things start to really change because you got scholarship athletes. In the pros, everybody's that good, aren't they? Where it becomes a full-time job. And for each of you, how do you feel you fit in? We've talked about it. I'm sure the fans out there, they're like, man, he's a hammer against the run. Do you feel like you work on the pass coverage a little bit more, or you just? Man. What's that?
You stole my question.
I did steal your question.
Yeah,
no, but you know what I'm saying, though. But like, do you enjoy being a thumper in the middle, stopping the run first, and then whatever happens pass-wise, who cares?
I mean, at the end of the day, as a linebacker, you love playing a run. You know what I mean? But you got to be good in the pass game too, getting to your drops, and trying to be effective there also. It's just practice. At the end of the day, getting them reps and trying to be perfect, but it's never going to be perfect, but you always strive to be, and that's just kind of how it is, honestly.
And with that, how much film study goes into it so you can find those keys? Because one thing I've noticed about you, as you go, once you see it, you hit it. And I think you're causing explosive plays because you're not waiting, you're hitting it, and you're catching guys off guard because all of a sudden the guard comes there and you already passed them.
Yeah, that's everything. Film study is everything, especially at this level. The more recognition you could get and keys pre-snap, that's how big plays are made.
Well, and I'm not looking for an injury update regarding Quay, but having depth at the linebacker spot on this team, whether it's Eric Wilson, having a couple guys who are veterans, and then you got this mix of young guys. The moment one guy leaves, you can kind of plug and play, right? Do you feel comfortable at all three spots?
Yeah, that's kind of, as a room, what we pride ourselves on, kind of have a next man up mentality and, try to have no drop off when, someone fortunately, gets banged up. But at the end of the day, we just go in with that mindset, next man up.
What are you really learning from, like, say, for example, because the cool thing about each player, you learn something from each other. Cooper, you've seen him, Cooper, the young linebacker. What are you seeing in him?
Yeah, he's explosive. He's athletic. He's physical. He works his tail off. And at the end of the day, he's a good player, and he's out there making a bunch of plays. I'm just happy for him.
We'll talk about the Saints in a moment, but how do you feel about the way things look? Overall, you got 3 teams ahead of you that have beaten you. You've beaten everybody else, but the games you've lost, it's been a total of 20 points or something like that in 4 games. Like, they're literally one-score games except for the one 24-14, I think, against the Lions.
Yep.
You guys are right there. Does that show you how close the margin is between the top team and maybe the 8th or 9th best team in the NFL?
Yeah, that's the NFL. Everyone's good. Everyone has good players, and the margin for error is so low. So, going into the games, we know that, and especially like with 2-minute situations, end the game, that's how a lot of games are either won or lost. So, those are important.
All right.
Seattle, you guys are playing in Seattle. What did it feel like when you saw and heard as many Packer fans?
It was crazy. I was just talking about it. Back there, they had like a sign on the Jumbotron, like Packers fans cheer, and you would hear the Packers fans, and it was insane. And then you hear Seattle, and I couldn't tell the difference. There was just as many Packers fans as Seattle fans, so It was pretty cool.
Well, back when this young fella used to play, there was the NFC Central when they had 5 teams in it. Tampa Bay was in it, and the moment the schedule came out, Packer fans from the whole state of Wisconsin made reservations. It was almost always late in the season, like November, December, because it was cold and it was warm down there. They would literally take over stadiums back then, so it's pretty cool to see them continue to do that. All right, when we come back on Locker Room, we'll have more with Packers linebacker Isaiah McDuffie coming up on the show. Time now for our Easy Tab Fan Cam. Smile, kids. Hello. We'll see you after the break. All right, welcome back to Locker Room right here at Thornberry Creek. Happy birthday, Tom Van Stratton, 87 years old. Yeah, 35th year coming to Locker Room. I'll start right now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tom. Happy birthday to you. That is crazy. 35 years ago, where were you, Harry Sidney?
Oh, man. Probably in the office over at Green Bay somewhere. I don't know.
It was 1990, so you were still in San Francisco.
Yeah, 1990, still San Francisco.
I was in high school. He was a twinkle in his mom and dad's eye.
He's been, and I shouldn't say
he's
this
been
word,
coming to the show that long.
He's been raising hell for a long time.
And I tell you what, he brings us cabbage.
Yes,
right?
he does. Good dude, man. He's a good dude.
He brings everybody cabbage every year. Cabbage farmer right out there by, I'm going to get it wrong, Black Creek, Shiocton. We call it the Hudson Center West.
Okay.
Because he's got so many tractors in his thing. We'll get him out there sometime.
Yeah.
You like to fish or hunt?
I like to fish, yeah.
Oh, he can hook you up. He knows everybody. If you don't know Tom west of Green Bay, you ain't anybody.
He's that guy. He's that guy. Yeah,
he's that dude.
He's that guy.
Okay.
All right, let's talk some football. You got the Saints coming to town. Yes, technically they're still in it. However, they've had issues at quarterback. You don't have to give away the game plan. How do you see their offense? What are you going to do to stop them? I mean, Everyone at home's going, this is a gimme. Matt LaFleur has made it clear there are no gimmies, and this is the NFL.
Yeah. You know, they have playmakers all around on offense, so just kind of trying to limit explosives and, you know, trying to keep the ball out of the hands of those guys.
You know, when you say limited explosive, do you, like I say, their injuries, do you go, okay, if this guy's out, let's really focus on this guy, or do you just say, let's play the defense the way we're supposed to play the defense?
Play the defense the way we play the defense. You know, execute the game plan and, you know, try to get after the quarterback. That's number one, for sure. That's
the way you got to do it. All right, every week we go in the locker room for an interview. Tonight it's time for our In the Zone with Cameron Nazaire, presented by Oneida Nation and Thornberry Creek.
Here with Packers kicker Brandon McManus. Brandon, when did you first get into football?
Well, I've always loved the sport. I grew up watching the game. I grew up just outside Philadelphia, and my dad had season tickets to the Eagles. So he started taking me when I was 3 years old and going to the game, hanging at the tailgate just to see the passion of fans for the NFL. So I have a great admiration for the fans here in Green Bay, just to see their determination and support. So I got in the game at 3 years old, and then I played every sport growing up. But football, I couldn't do it because of the other sports I was playing, but I started playing football in 7th grade. So.
When you first got into football, did you always think kicking was the route? Did you try any other positions?
No, I was a quarterback, safety, and I was the shoe-in for kicker because I played soccer. Still to this day, you know, on a couple of my teams, I've been the emergency quarterback in case both quarterbacks go down. You know, I'm not saying they would put me in; they might just run a wildcat. But I'm always ready and always auditioning for the team to be the emergency quarterback. And I played safety as well. I love being the back end on the defense. It gives you a chance to see it all, to see the whole play develop, and have a chance to make a game-changing play back there.
Last one for you. I know your family has obviously loved football for a while because of the season tickets. How cool is it to have your family watch you play professional football, knowing that that's what they grew up watching?
Yeah, when I joined the league, it was super cool. So, it was not that it was my dad's dream for me to play, but it's just cool to see the emotion and how much they meant to me, and how much they took me to sports practices, driving hours each, whatever sport I was playing, and so I feel like it's somewhat of a reward. They have a chance to see me play professionally, and then now, my parents kind of had their time. Now, to me, it's exciting because I get to have my kids, my 3 sons, have a chance to watch me play, and that's even more motivating for me. Just my own offspring have a chance to watch me and see the hard work I've put in, and hopefully they have a chance to whatever they choose in life to work as hard as I have to get here.
All righty, thank you, fellas. He's had a couple clutch kicks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to have that in a kicker.
Definitely.
They only get noticed when they usually miss, right?
Kickers.
All right, when we come back, it'll be time to wrap up the show. We'll have our keys to the game coming up on Locker Room. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Locker Room right here at Thornberry Creek at Oneida. Packers Saints next on the docket after that prime-time win over Seattle. 4 big games. You played at noon, basically, a couple 325s for like 9 straight weeks. He asked about the schedule, but do you enjoy playing in that spotlight where 7:20 kickoff, the entire nation's watching?
Gotta love the primetime games.
Man.
You know what I mean? You gotta love them. Plus, you can get a little nap in, watch a little extra tape.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You gotta love them.
All right, time now for our keys to the game. Presented by the Dispensary. First and foremost, they've got one major offensive weapon, in my opinion. I think Isaiah agrees. Corral Alvin Kamara. He can get after it in a lot of ways. Rattle Rattler. They've had a variety of quarterbacks. He was the guy at the end of the game. They had a little bit of a comeback against Washington and continue to play complementary football. Would you agree?
I would say so. I feel like that quarterback gave him a little juice towards the end of the game, and Kamara could go all the way every time he touches the ball, so definitely gonna have to limit him.
10 seconds.
Packers just have to be the Packers.
Yep.
Run the ball, play action, play great defense like they've been doing. Win the game.
They are definitely the better team.
Packers
linebacker Isaiah McDuffie, I appreciate you stopping
Pleasure,
by.
man.
Best of luck
Pleasure.
next Monday
Pleasure.
night. For Harry Sidney, I'm Bert Griffin. Thanks for tuning in to Locker Room.
Thank you for watching Locker Room.